The air hung heavy with the scent of incense and old wood as she walked silently through the cloister. The echo of her own footsteps, the only sound against the backdrop of ancient stone floor, almost blending into the silence. No one ever noticed when she disappeared. It's not the sisters who shared meals and prayers with her, not the priests whose confessions she heard, not the townspeople who sought solace in her presence. The shadows were her allies. During the day, she was Sister Marianne, humble and invisible servant of the Lord. She swept the pews, cleaned the altar, arranged flowers, always fading into the background. But at night, cloaked in the velvet embrace of darkness, she shed her habit and became something else, a phantom of vengeance. No one knew this, or if they did, no one spoke of it. Her name was Marianne, though few truly knew it. Every evening, just before dusk, she would linger near the confessional, her hands busy with a cloth, wiping what already polished to perfection. She never meant to listen, but how could she not? For within those four walls, within the hushed whispers of the evening, secrets unfolded like sins. Men bared their souls, spilling tales of deceit and damnation. Broken men who stumbled out into the night, seeking absolution for their sins. Drunken husbands who had hit their wives, cruel fathers who scarred their children, cowards who confessed without remorse. And so she began to map their faces and voices, tracking their steps, memorizing their patterns, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When the moon replaced the sun and the world slept, she would leave the sanctuary. She wore plain clothes when she left the convent, slipping through the back gate no one ever checked, and walked calmly through dark alleys until the holy turned to hell. Her first was a man named Roberto, a butcher with a meat cleaver for hands and a temper to match. He'd confessed to knocking out his wife's teeth. The church had offered forgiveness. Sister Marianne did not. She followed him home, waited for the lights to go out, and entered through the kitchen window. No one heard him scream. No one ever would again. Each kill was quiet, deliberate, a whisper in the night. She was not cruel. She never prolonged their suffering. One clean strike, one breathless moment, then silence. Always silence. By dawn, she returned to the safety of the convent, washed herself, prayed, and kneeled before the same God she believed demanded justice. The sisters noticed how devout she was, how often she fasted, how fervently she wept during evening prayers. But none suspected the darkness that clung to her like a second skin. The father noticed how she lingered near the booth, how her eyes never flinched when sins were confessed. He, too, was consumed by his own duties, leaving him blind to the truth. One night, he followed her, drawn by an unseen force. He didn't see the kill, only the figure she became in the moonlight, faster, stronger, terrifying in her silence. He confronted her with trembling hands, and she simply bowed her head, admitting nothing. He told her to stop. She told him to listen harder to the confessions. Rumors began, whispers in the dim, oil lamp-lit halls. What did Sister Marianne know? Why did she always seem troubled after confessions? Did she truly hear absolution in every word spoken? The deaths were becoming noticeable. Local men, known sinners, found dead in strange positions, with signs no police could explain. Strange, they said, but natural causes, they claimed. Though some blamed it on divine retribution, others fled, their prayers unanswered. And Sister Marianne continued, until one evening, a woman arrived, bloodied and trembling, her face broken, her child clinging to her waist. She confessed nothing, she simply cried, and that was enough. She poured out her pain, her terror, her rage, naming the monster who had shattered her world. And Sister Marianne left immediately, finding him in the town square, drunk, laughing, boasting about his conquests. She led him away, calmed him with familiar words, took him to a place where shadows danced and secrets whispered. When she emerged from the darkness, her hands were stained, her eyes were hard. That night she did not return. She had taken a life, yes, but the monster had taunted her, had spoken of his crimes with twisted pride, had begged for more sin. She was not his executioner. She was his judge, his jury, his God. She left before sunrise, returning to the convent as if nothing had happened. But something in her had shifted, hardened. That was the first time she cried. But the child had seen her through the cracked door. Small eyes had watched the shadowy figure enter the monster and never come out. Days later, a drawing appeared in the chapel, a black stick figure with outstretched arms and a knife. Silhouetted against a circle of fire, the flames reaching towards a halo, the sisters were horrified. Sister Marianne stared for hours. The child said nothing, but the drawing spoke volumes. Suddenly the convent felt heavier, the silence more suffocating. There were fewer confessions, fewer sins to absolve. Maybe the world was listening. Then came the knock at the gate, the arrival of men in dark uniforms, their faces grim, their questions sharp. Rumors spread like wildfire, whispers of vigilante justice, of patterns traced of a killer nun. The father said nothing, his eyes filled with worry. The sisters looked away, their prayers turning to pleas. But Sister Marianne walked calmly to them, hands clean, eyes resolute, ready to face whatever storm lay ahead. They searched, but she gave no resistance. They found nothing, no weapon, no proof, only a journal full of prayers and scriptures. She returned the next day, her face pale, her eyes haunted. No one knows how or why the police never came back. But they say the father left that week, and the sisters never asked again. Life at the convent returned to quiet normalcy. The routine of prayers and chores, the comfort of shared meals, the solace of companionship. But something lingered, an unspoken truth, a hidden fear, a secret that bound them together. For every so often, a man disappeared, his absence noticed, his fate unknown. His family would seek answers, the police would investigate, but nothing concrete would emerge. No body, no evidence, only rumors of a vengeful spirit haunting the night. And every so often, a candle burned in the chapel's farthest corner. No name, no picture, just light. A soft, glowing warning in the house of God. In the heart of their quiet town, nestled between rolling hills and a whispering river, stood the old brick convent, a silent sentinel of faith and forgotten sins. Within its hallowed halls, the echo of prayers mingled with the whispers of the past. It was a place of solace, of confession, of absolution. Or so it seemed. For behind the high walls, shrouded in the cloak of secrecy, a shadow stirred. The townspeople saw only a humble nun, a beacon of piety and grace. They saw Sister Marianne, always pure, always pious, always ready with a kind word or a helping hand. But what they didn't see, what they couldn't fathom, was the duality that played out under the cloak of night. She was many things, many faces, many personas. She was the protector, shielding the innocent from the darkness that lurked in the hearts of men. She was the judge, weighing the sins of men, deciding their fates with a solemn nod. She was the executioner, swift and merciless, striking down the wicked with unwavering precision. And finally, she was the ghost, forever bound to the confines of the convent, forever seeking absolution for the sins of the world. They called her the Angel of Vengeance, a creature of myth and legend. Born of pain, fueled by righteous anger, and driven by an unquenchable thirst for justice. She was the nightmare of every sinner, the hope of every victim, and the eternal mystery of the old brick convent.